Hopefully this is hope the audience can hear me out there. You see this post? It's from the New York Post. It says critics claim missing white woman syndrome has overshadowed these missing person cases. And I'm gonna stroll down, and this little girl name was Deuce. Oh shoot. Okay. Let me do that again. Oh man. Hold on. Sometimes well, I just had. Anyway, I'm doing uh, I'm doing this segment about missing people. Uh, and disparities in the missing people, that there's some cases are not being looked at and overlooked. Okay, here's an. I'll probably get back to that one. Oh, if it can open. Guess the page don't want to open. Hold on. Easy. These things open pretty quick. All right. Okay. And it's just about missing people, and it shows like a couple articles showed the disparities in people when it comes to different people missing. That was a point in this video. When it comes to people, they called it people of color, uh, black people, Native American people, Asian people, Hispanic people. Some individually, don't they don't get much coverage. But anyway, I think okay, and hopefully this one. Hold on. You can see this. Oh. Come on, now what? it's I guess it's a commercial. But it said over 50 black girls missing from New York, New Jersey reports. And these are the girls that are missing. Ashanti Moody, Destiny Locklet. These young ladies. Um, what is it? I hate something. Something else. But anyway, that's the young ladies that are missing. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's from the griot. And there's other people that need to take advantage of this. Uh, this one's from. This is different news sites online, and this is another one. Um, this is called "Family Missing of Black Americans Fight for Immediate Police."
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand together. Watch Serena Legends, Wonder Woman, Serena, Wonder Woman, Serena, Wonder Woman.
You cannot be serious! Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. Introducing DirecTV Stream with no annual contract.
It's very hard living day to day, not knowing where your child is.
Paula Hill hopes that someone who sees these photos will help bring her missing daughter home and help mend her broken heart.
She's 8 on here. I wrote it on the back.
10 long years have passed since the young black girl in these precious memories disappeared without a trace. Her name is Shamika Cozy. She vanished just a few days after Christmas that year.
On December the 28th, 2008, that was the last day that I seen her.
You've come back to this neighborhood a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
Her daughter was here, just outside St. Louis, watching movies with her cousins, when everyone woke up the next morning and discovered she was gone. She was 16 years old, a door was unlocked, and police believe she ran away, so they never searched for the girl.
They not doing anything because they think she gone on her own. I don't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to.
Shamika Cozy's story was different in the sense that she vanished without a trace.
Andrea Thomas is a local news anchor and reporter who produces a podcast documenting forgotten cases of missing black Americans. This was one of her first.
Her belongings, her overnight bag was still left on the counters in the house, and she was never seen again.
She says police and the press often dismiss black cases as runaways.
It has been difficult to get some of these stories told when it comes to missing people of color, cold cases involving people of color, and I felt like if I can do my part as far as having this podcast, I can tell any story I want, about whoever I want, however I want, for however long I want to.
At the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Director Robert Lowery told us that roughly 800,000 Americans go missing each year. What percentage of those are African American or of color?
About 60% of the reports that we see here in the U.S. that go in those databases.
More than half.
Well over half. It really breaks a lot of commonly held thought on who are really the missing children in the U.S.
The numbers show that missing black Americans are disproportionately represented. In 2018, more than 30% of all missing persons were black Americans, despite making up just 13% of the total U.S. population. But only around a fifth of those cases are followed by the news. Frustrated with little help and even less attention, Paula Hill and her family went searching on their own. This idea that she ran away, you don't believe that?
No. No. I believe she left her home with someone? Yes. But she was intending to come back. She was not intending to stay gone for 10 years.
We are in front of the Berkeley Police Station. This is a police department that was investigating this case. We ended up sitting down with Major Art Jackson, who is of course African American, and defends the way police are handling the case. How come the police never did a search on this?
There was no evidence to support a physical search. This is one of the hardest things to investigate as a missing person, especially if a person is missing with, like I said, with no signs of anything, just voluntarily walks away. Now, if a person's missing, they've been kidnapped or anything like that, you're going to have signs of struggle. You're going to have things to go by to help you put that piece of the puzzle together. So, in reality, sometimes law enforcement and sometimes the media, we
line on the airwaves was massive and hopeful. But all of these cases had one significant thing in common. The victims were white Americans. I was one of the reporters covering 17-year-old Caitlin Fresita in 2017, who went missing in Florida. At the same time, 14-year-old Yania Javon Carter disappeared near Atlanta. Carter didn't get half the media attention, but luckily she was found alive. Natalie and Derica Wilson run a foundation that helps search for missing Black and Hispanic children.
There are so many families of color who are desperately searching for their missing loved one, and they are just asking for just 1 second or a couple of seconds of media coverage, and it can change the narrative for them.
We also understand that the decision makers don't look like us, and so these cases are not sensitive enough where they want to air it.
We got more than an earful from this group of parents and loved ones of missing Black children in Washington, D.C. They told us they'd take a fraction of the compassion and attention that went to the families of Natalie Holloway, Elizabeth Smart, Lacey Peterson, and so many others.
When you see me as an African American in this country out covering these cases over and over again of missing white children, it's depressing to you.
Yes, I know how many missing people of color that are missing. I would say, well, do he do his homework to talk about us?
Yeah, it pissed me off to see you reporting somebody's child other than mine. Me and this person's child can go missing around the same time, but I had to fight to get mine on local news, and this person's on national news with the FBI overnight. Exactly. I was like, I'm tired and I'm frustrated and I'm pissed.
They want America to take a greater interest in these names. Unique Harris, Christian Muse, Relisha Rudd, Keisha Jacobs, and Terence Woods Jr., who went missing last October.
Tell me if you each can tell me about your loved ones.
Well, my daughter Unique, I definitely miss her jovial attitude. She always could just walk in a room and brighten up the room, and she kept me laughing even when I didn't want to laugh. Keisha, she was 21 when she went missing, but she was still my baby. She's the one that we used to have movie nights, and she'd lay up in the bed with me and we'll watch movies and eat popcorn.
As a child, 8-year-old, normal child, her laughter, her playfulness, she was very beautiful.
I'll have dreams about Christian, and in these dreams, I will be boo-hooing crying, in my dream. But then I'll wake up with that same feeling of sorrow, and no physical tears are coming out.
Well, my son Terence, he was my best friend, and this just recently happened, so, every Christmas he would put up the Christmas tree. So this Christmas it was like, really different, and he was with 11 other people, but he's the only one that we're missing without a physical trace. Like she was just saying, it just hit me like a gut shot on Tuesday nights. He would sit in my room and we'd watch TV together and watch a movie together. I don't even like walking down the hall going towards his room. The sheriff department, nobody. Is it really helping out?
Terence Woods Jr. went missing last fall in the forests of Ora Grande, Idaho, where he was shooting a documentary. Within a week, police ended the search, saying no leads were obtained and no signs of Mr. Woods have been located in the search area. They also say they're continuing to monitor the situation. His father says they've told him nothing since.
I think a lot of people get the misunderstanding that we immediately get help from the police department. That's not the case.
But there's a small ray of hope shining on the horizon. At the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they're bringing in representatives from local law enforcement and the news departments in the D.C. area to point these differences out.
We've initiated a minority children initiative here to examine that very question. Those large-scale searches, in our experience, have been predominantly for Caucasian children, and reasons that we don't always understand.
As for the families, their voices filled with anger and frustration. They say they'll never stop looking.
So, a number of you have been dealing with this for years. What advice do you give to this father who's 4 months in?
I'm gonna tell you straight up, don't give up. Like you said, don't accept nothing nobody say. Can't nobody tell you no, and you keep fighting until you can't fight no more.
And remember, that's your child, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to fight for your child like you do.
Do you expect to get answers?
Oh, yeah.
Everything in my heart is telling me that Keisha is alive, but I believe she is coming home to me.
Terrence?
My son's coming home.
Paula Hill shares this determined optimism. She and her other 2 children have submitted DNA samples to a national registry, praying for a match.
And this is her big sister.
And when she's down, she looks through these memories of the daughter she's missing and finds her joy.
I still have hope that one day I want to find my child.
For Nightline, I'm Steve Osunsami in Washington.
You probably wonder, why did I cover this? It's not to distinguish any other people, because there's also Native American Indian people, Latino people, and there's a couple other people, and even there are some people that are white, but they're not at a high middle class that they take note of, especially if it depends on what the demographic or the neighborhood you live in across this country. But when it came to African American, it's like I think a lot of these parents feel that their life don't matter. They're as a human being don't matter. The pain and suffering doesn't matter to some of these people. It's just that they don't picture it, and it's not very folk is a focus idea. It's not what they call an ideal of America. So even when you missing, your child is missing, it's something bad, some of it, and it's just really sad. But this is something that people need to take note of. But it's across the country and around the world. But even in other countries, probably where blacks are, that they come up missing, they're probably it's the same thing, man. And the only people that seem to care have empathy and understand, even though it could be in another land, another country, is black, because